Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now it has grown to 3. So the first thing we will talk about is how the Bhagavad Gita looks at itself, really. That is something to, that is worthy of understanding. How does the Bhagavad Gita look at the body of knowledge called the Shruti, called these teachings? And that is expressed in a very nice verse. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidenam. So the Lord Krishna says that this knowledge is looked upon with great wonder by some people, kaschit, by some people look upon this knowledge as wondrous. In fact, everything is a wonder in this knowledge. Because if one is in a place of being a recipient, it's a constant ascharya, and in vernacular languages the word ascharya means surprise, but in Sanskrit it means wonder. So that's the whole idea. And it can also mean surprise because the knowledge is a constant surprise. It keeps you on the toes. Whatever you think it is not. Whatever you don't think it is. And just as you think you have got it, you haven't got it. It goes away. As soon as you say, I have caught Brahman, it refuses to be caught. So like that, it's a constant surprise, but more than that, the word wonder is a little more of an elegant translation, because it is a wonder. So ascharyavat pashyati kaschidenam. So some people look upon the teachings, with wonder. And there is, and kechid anyaha, some others, ascharyavat vadati, ascharyavat pashyati kaschidanyaha, ascharyavat vadati kechidanyaha. So some others talk about it with wonder. So this could be the Vakta, the teacher is also surprised while talking about it. And I can attest to this, Yeah. And when we used to hear Pujya Swamiji talk, and he would be saying things, and he would say, oh, this is the direction it's taking. Okay. Okay, let's go there. And he would laugh very hard at his own jokes. So it's very clear that, the joke is coming from elsewhere. Not from the individual called, Swami Dayananda, but what he is channeling, really. So, Ascharyavat vadati kechidanyah, because it is all wondrous. And wonder means, how, first of all, what is a big wonder is how come there is ignorance? When the Atma and when the limitlessness, that is oneself, is crystal clear, when this is what I want to be and this is who I really am, still there is ignorance. As though sitting side by side with Brahman and eating, our heads, this ignorance. How is this possible? That's a wonder. And how does this Atma, which is limitless, how does it accommodate this ignorance without any problem? That's a wonder. It allows the ignorance to exist until you spirit it away and you say, I cannot stand and tolerate this ignorance, I have to do something about it. It says, okay, theek hai. Because that ignorance is not opposed to the Atma, because the ignorance has to do with one small little, thing called the mind, which it is shadowing. Atma is all knowledge. So that's a wonder. How can this ignorance be there when that limitlessness is there? So it's an interesting wonder, means it's all a paradox. And then another wonder in this talking, Kechid Vadati and Kaschit Pashyati, in the seers of it and in the people who understand it. Another big wonder is how does this knowledge, how can this knowledge of oneness take place when we are making a distinction between Shishya and Guru? How many is it? Shishya plus Guru? 2. Oh, this is a duality right here. Guru is received, yo Veda Dausvarah Prokto, Vedante cha Pratishtita, all these things with bells and whistles and all these things. And Guru is given chair to sit. And then Shishyas have to come in meekly and sit down and say, hey Guru, Bho Guru, and then sit and listen. And then, Guru keeps talking, never stops. And Shishya just has to quietly listen. And this is a duality, right? Huh? Show some signs of life. Yeah, this is a duality. This is all, where is the oneness? Where is the oneness when there is Guru, when there is Shishya, and there are two things, and then how does this two, how does 1 plus 1 is equal to 1? How? Ashcharya. This is the Ashcharya. And the Dakshinamurti Stotra says, Shishyacharya taya tathaiva pitruputradhyatmana bhedatah. So, we see these distinctions: father, son, mother, daughter, mother, son, father, daughter, sister, brother, Guru, Shishya, Acharya, Shishya. We see these distinctions, and the distinctions are overlaid on this Atma, which is free of those distinctions because of the, what's its name? Because of the problem with our vision. That's what it is. And so that itself is a wonder. How did this visual distortion took place, and how I see 2 always in the place of 1, and how that 2 translates into 1, and how despite all the achara means the recommended conduct in dealing with the Guru that is there, how despite all those hierarchies, or rather because of those hierarchies and because of those distinctions, I understand myself to be non-separate from the Guru, how this knowledge comes across. Again, addressing Lord Dakshinamurti, another shloka. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vidahine Atmajnana Pradhanena. Tasmai Shri, that Guru I adore. Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, that Lord who is manifest in the form of the teacher, who wondrously and magically, as in the form of the teacher, erodes the distinction between Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara, or Ishvara, Guru and myself. Because when we think of Ishvara, immediately, You like, oh no, that's not me. That's Ishvara over there, somewhere, I don't know. Sometimes the head goes up, you get a crick in the neck, Then you remember, okay, I'm Hindu, I shouldn't be looking up because Bhagavan is everywhere. And then if you're South Indian, as soon as the word Ishvara is uttered, you go like this, Yeah, saying, oh my God, the word Ishvara brings forth what? All my omissions and commissions I suddenly remember, which are not wondrous, which are very run-of-the-mill omissions and commissions, and then I ask pardon like that. And if you're standing in front of Ganesha, there is a very interesting way to ask for pardon, because you go like this, crisscross, and you cross the opposite leg and do uthak, baithak, up and down, up and down. And then they have found out that it's a very interesting yogic practice that digests everything and gets rid of chronic illnesses. Asthma, go like this, with the legs crossed. So many things, chronic this, chronic that, everything. You do 5 of them a day, and apparently you're just in wonderful health. So this this Ishvara that I don't know and is locally not available, who is very awe-inspiring and far away from myself, and the Guru slightly closer to myself, because at least I can see, touch and interact. Ask questions. Still, far beyond myself, I can't even think about me and Guru being one and the same, and myself, so and so, sad, limited, fearful. This me, the one, that Guru in the form of the Lord who has come to teach, who tears asunder those distinctions by giving this knowledge of the self, where I see myself as no different from either Ishvara or the Guru or the Jagat or other jivas. It's all one. And how this too is needed for this oneness to sink in, another wonder. It's a great wonder. And the third wonder is how the knowledge takes place. So what is the knowledge? Tattvamasi. Everybody knows. And what is this Tat? Tat means Jagat Karanam Brahma. That Ishvara you are. You are that Ishvara that, But I don't want to be Ishvara. Don't tell lies. You want to be... Everybody wants Ishvaratvam. Ishvaratvam means overlordship. Somebody should be there to boss over. That's one reason to get married. And a very good reason also. Somebody should be there who will listen to me. Somebody should be there, in the company of whom I should feel powerful and good. Because, otherwise, in the absence of such people, life is boring, because how will they know I'm powerful? So it's like that. It's like that the story of the man who thought he was a cat. Yeah. All kinds of remedies were given. Everything was tried. The poor wife was so frustrated and sick of putting a dish of milk on the floor. Because he was going on all fours and lapping it up. Sick of it. And the children, they had, they didn't know what to do. In order to play with him, they also had to go on all fours. And then some famous psychologist came to town. And as a last resort, she takes him to see the doctor. And the doctor says, okay, you stay outside, I'll talk to him. And he makes him repeat, I'm not a cat. Are you a cat? Yeah, I'm a cat. No, you're not a cat. Let me show you a cat. So he has a cat brought and he says, this is cat, you're not cat. Look at you. And he makes him repeat, you're not a cat. I'm not a cat. You're a human being. I'm a human being. I'm not a cat. And he says, oh, I feel better already. Wonderful. And the wife's jaw drops because he comes out on 2 legs, not 4. And she's thrilled. And the doctor says, oh, nothing, don't worry, he'll be all right. If there is a relapse, call me, here is my phone number. Goes home and then he's behaving properly like a human being at home, but refuses to go out, will not go out, will not set foot outside. And then what? The wife calls the doctor. Oh, it's just a small little relapse. Call him on the phone, I'll talk to him. What are you? Immediately he says, I'm not a cat, I'm a human being. Oh, good. Fantastic. Doctor is thrilled. Pats himself on the back. Not bad, I've done a good job with this fellow. Then why are you not going outside? And the man explains patiently. Doctor, I know I'm a cat. But what about the dogs outside? They don't know that. That's why I'm not, I know I'm not a cat. The dogs outside may not know. So like this, that Ishvaratvam is very important. What do you want to be? All powerful. That's why everybody likes working from home, because nobody should be sitting on the head and saying you have to do so much. That's why it's very popular, work from home. And the bosses also like it because this workaholic will work more from home. So they say, okay, fine. Keep working from home only. Because then you don't have to invest in office space, you don't have to do anything. Easy. And this working from home bimari, this sickness, is because I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. Nobody likes to be told what to do. What is that? That is Ishvaratvam. That is the desire for Ishvaratvam. Right there, I don't want anyone to tell me what to do. I don't want anybody to say where to go, how to be, etc. And in fact, I want to be the one who tells other people what to do. That is also hidden there. This is the desire for Ishvaratvam. So don't tell me I don't want to be Ishvara. Ishvara is all power, all might. And that's where one is trying to get to through what? Through action. And it doesn't work because one is already Ishvara. No, how can I be Ishvara? I'm not all powerful. You don't know my life. I'm not all powerful at all. Even the household pet, the dog, doesn't listen to me. So I'm not all powerful. We are not measuring power from that standpoint. We are measuring power in a different way. We are measuring power from the understanding and from the standpoint of that freedom. That freedom is really power. The freedom to be, not to boss over somebody. The freedom to know that I'm adequate. The freedom to know that I'm not criticizing myself. That I approve of myself. That is what one wants. The freedom to be recklessly compassionate. The freedom to be full, to be free. That is what I want. And that is the greatest Ashcharya. How this Anishvara, what is Anishvara? Not Ishvara. The one who thinks I'm not Ishvara is really Ishvara. So this knowledge of Ishvaratvam as oneself as Ishvara, is communicated to who? The one who feels the least like Ishvara. A very interesting paradox. It's a great wonder. Great wonder how this methodology operates. And really speaking, it's not the knowledge that is drilled into the head in the Vedanta classes. In fact, it is the ignorance that is spirited away. The knowledge that I am Ishvara is already there, because all you have to see is look at a 2-year-old strut around as though he or she owns the place. That is Ishvaratvam. Mine. Give me that. No other ego exists. It's just all me. That is Ishvaratva. So really speaking, the inhibiting factors to owning up that understanding that I am this limitless consciousness is taken away. How? That how is very interesting. That is another wonder. Yet another wonder is that this person with all kinds of complexes, the human being is a complex person means full of complexes. Full of complexes. Nobody loves me. I am abandoned. I am an idiot. I am a loser. I am a failure. I am this. I am that. All kinds of things. This. I looked at this person, but they didn't look at me at all. And I thought this person was my friend. And then you go do some research and you ask the other person, how come you didn't look at your friend? Your friend got very hurt. Both of you were at a function together and she said you didn't look at her at all. The friend meanwhile is having her own complexes. She was diagnosed with poor eyesight, but did not want to appear in public wearing glasses. So she really could not see. It's not that she was trying to, put the friend down or not acknowledge her. This is how it is. But because of one's own subjectivity, one comes to these wrong conclusions, missed takes and mistakes about oneself and about others and about the interactions and relationships with one another. Complete wrong things. And so how can this head filled with subjectivity get this knowledge that one is limitless? Because the person is fighting it till the last minute, of the knowledge taking place. Fighting, one comes to the teacher. And in the class, even though they may not be asking questions, inside a lot is happening, And are you, so how was everything? Yeah, it was good. But this moksha is not for everyone. It's for a chosen, selected few. For that, you have to just be like Adi Shankaracharya. At age 8, you have to have some miraculous experiences. And then, you have to be caught by a crocodile and released by the crocodile. And, this is what it is. For us, it's not once in a while we just attend a class, just for some jokes and then go home. Yeah. This is what actually people have told me, because this person was attending Pujya Swamiji's classes for many, many years. Every summer he would come with his family and attend 1, 2, 3 days camp and go back. And everybody thought, oh, he's such a loyal Shishya. No. I just come here to just clear my head and back to square one. We can't take this knowledge seriously. I said, why not? He was a very elderly person. Everybody called him Babuji. He's no more now. Very successful businessman. So we were all, he was very loving. And everybody in the ashram he would buy gifts for and buy fruits and everything. Very generous, wonderful person. So why not, Babuji? How come you saying no to moksha? Ye moksha kya hota hai? Nothing. What will come? Nothing will come. So those things are best left to the Swamis. Swami, not me. And then this is not for us. We are, householders, and we just like once in a while a little bit of moksha for 5 minutes, little bit of satsang, a little bit of Vedanta, little bit of snacks afterwards, and little bit of chai, little bit of this, everything in moderation. That's what the Buddha, who is an avatara, said. Everything you follow the middle path. Yeah. Middle path leads to nowhere. Buddha said that in another context. He was deciphering the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Na anashnataha yogo asti na chati swapnashilasya. Meaning, don't go, overboard in this practice. In the sadhana, you follow the mean path. Don't eat too much, not eat at all. Don't do too much sadhana that you're, complaining of all kinds of aches and pains after standing on one leg. And at the same time, don't do no sadhana at all. Don't keep on sleeping and then don't be like an owl, always awake. That is where the middle path is exercised, not in the choice that one makes. The choice that one makes has to be crystal clear. And most often it is not. One comes to the teacher with very mumukshutvam that has already been extinguished by the fires of samsara already. So there is a small spire of smoky mumukshutvam that the potential shishya brings. And the teacher has to become a pyromaniac and keep this fire lit for all the students. Ashcharya, how does that happen? How does this smoky mumukshutvam, the desire for freedom, which is all, convoluted, corrupted by samsaric existence, by the existence of this, strife and affliction, how is that kept alive? How is the desire for freedom kept alive in this example I gave you? By that person who said, this moksha is not for me. But apparently later on he acknowledged how much the knowledge had helped him. And how this was just a spoof. He was trying to act very tough and saying he was immune to Pujya Swamiji's charms. It's not Pujya Swamiji's charms, it's the charm of the teaching. This is what it is. Ashcharya. Ascharyavat kaschidenam shrinoti. So the shrotas are very happy. They are also in constant wonder. How is this possible? Aha moment. As long as the class lasts. After the class lasts, another Ascharya. Where did it all go? See, it's Ascharya all the way. So it's a wondrous class, and I was in complete wonder. I was transported, teleported, ported back to myself. You go home and tell your friend, your family members, your significant others. And of course, they are also curious. So, what did this teacher talk about? And then you become very diplomatic. I think you should experience it for yourself. It's best experience. You should expose yourself to the knowledge. Because who am I? What can I say?
You remember that.
What is the reality? The reality is it's not an aha moment, it's a swaha moment where nothing is remembered. Everything is swaha somewhere, nothing is remembered. Yeah. And all, where did that knowledge go? Ashcharya. But I listened to it, yes, and I took notes, yes, but it's still gone. In fact, I can't decipher my own notes. Ashcharya. It's not really gone. Just like the sun is not gone when it's a foggy day. Sun is not gone. In fact, because of the sun, we see the fog. Ghanachanna drishtihi ghanachanna arkam manyate atimudhaha. So this deluded fellow, where is the fog? Ghana means the fog, clouds. Where are the clouds? The clouds, this writer of this particular Vedantic verse, Vedantic treatise, says the fog is in front of this fellow's eyes, not in the sky. Because such a fellow is declaring that the sun is gone, the sun is fogged up, whereas this drishti is fogged up. Really, because of the sun we see the fog. So you cannot say the fog has swallowed up the sun. And similarly, the fog of what? Raga dveshas, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all these things have as though swallowed up, eclipsed the whatever was heard in the class. This is Ashcharya. How does this happen? You know? And perhaps the greatest Ashcharya is what is expressed in the last line of the verse. What is the greatest Ashcharya? Shrutvapi naveda kaschit. Even after listening to it repeatedly, the knowledge does not take place. This is another wonder. That the knowledge. So therefore, in the 9th chapter, very diplomatically, Bhagavan Krishna says, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. It's a kingly, royal secret, royal knowledge, the secret of secrets that I'm going to communicate to you. Why it's the best kept secret. And what is the best kept secret? The best kept secret is the one that's right there for everybody to see, but everybody misses it. This is our problem. This is what has to be corrected. This is what has to be brought back. So this is the Ashcharya. And the Ashcharya is that, that one, in spite of the personality playing tricks, playing shadow puppetry, a game of shadow and light. Sometimes I feel wonderful. Yes, I got it. Oh no, back to square one. No, I got it, I'm getting it. Oh no. This is, in spite of all these trickery unleashed by the ahankara, and the ahankara starts to get very upset when you attend Vedanta classes more than once. Yeah, that's why Babuji only used to come once in a while to the ashram. Because the ahankara is used to a small Ishvaratvam, a tiny small Ishvaratvam of its own little domain. And what is its domain? The body, mind, sense complex. It loves the fact that it can say to the hand, come out. Okay, what should I do? Slap the other person. Right. Leg, come out. Kick. Do this, do that. And all the organs of actions obey, including vak, speech. Give them a good lashing with the tongue. Okay, here goes. This is the Rajya of the Ahankara. It loves this tiny little kingdom, unsurpassed. It rules because it can tell everything, whatever it wants. But this is a delusion, because the Ahankara itself is ruled by the Ragadveshas, by strong preferences and prejudices, which wreak havoc on the Ahankara and make it a bhikari, a beggar. Really? The Ahankara thinks I'm all in all, but really speaking, it's like the last Indian administration, which was run by Italy. But the person in charge thought, I am the head. He had a head, that's all. All the policies came from, we were colonized again. Yeah, we were ruled by Italy for 10 years almost. So like this, this is what the Ahankara is. It thinks that I am the one running the show, but it is drunk in its own, pride and this attachment to wanting to run the show, so much so that it misses the fact that it is a servant to all the likes and dislikes who are pulling it like a puppet and making it go here and there. So the Ahankara is In bondage, it is not free. It doesn't know that. But it thinks it is the Raja, it is the king of all this. And it doesn't want to lose its domain. It's like that fellow who on being, this is just a made up story, this fellow was the, king of Raipur, a small, township in Madhya Pradesh in the middle of India. And suddenly he was told that he has been selected to be the king of whole of India. And the people who came and gave him the good news and brought a crown and they were ready to put the crown on his head right then, they were suddenly, disappointed because they expected him to be up with joy, jumping up and down with joy. Instead, they were greeted with, sorrow because he said, I don't know what will happen if I'm the king of whole of India. No, you will love it. It's great. Yeah, but will I still be the king of Raipur? Was his question. That is exactly what happens to the potential student who is interested in Vedanta. Because the fear of the loss of this tiny little Rajya, which is actually run by Ragadveshas. The loss of this tiny little Rajya makes them very suspicious and fearful of embracing the limitlessness that really one wants to have. This is another Ashtarya. That's why even though one repeatedly hears, one is refusing to accept that. But what is it that one, how is it that when this knowledge does take place, and it does take place, how do we know this knowledge takes place? Hello? How do we know that this knowledge has taken place? We have a lot of time. I'm not going forward till, this is not a rhetorical question A, and B, I'm not going forward till I get some answers. How do we know that this knowledge is taking place?
Over here.
By realization.
Huh?
By the realization.
Yeah, but how do you know? Because you see yourself growing, you see yourself attending classes, you see yourself better than you were before in terms of your own growth. That's how you know. And you know that the Shishya and Guru are in an unbroken lineage. So many lineages, unbroken. How do you know it's unbroken? Because you are here. That's how it is unbroken. And that's how we know that this parampara is there, it is the knowledge is taking place. And once this knowledge takes place, that itself is the greatest Ashtarya. And such a person is described in 2 verses, also at the end of the 2nd chapter. The first one is like this, it goes like this: Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudram apah pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamaha pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti na kama kami. So the person in Shanti here means contentment and freedom from obstacles. But we just go for the easy translation. Om, peace, 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 Yeah. You feel like going in pieces when you hear that, Yeah, Om, peace, peace, peace. I said, what? First time I heard it, I thought they were asking for peas, But it was, it's a very glib translation. It's not it's not wrong, but what it is that it's not contextually adequate. Here, Shantim apnoti means total, complete freedom from affliction and discontent and all kinds of obstacles by various emotions trying to hijack this person. That is the person. This person of wisdom is described in 2 verses. The first one says Apuryamanaha, means complete in oneself. How to see complete in oneself? Complete in oneself means what? Like Ganesha, nice and round, complete, Purna, fat. Never buy a thin Ganesha. Sometimes they have it in the market. Doesn't look good. You should have a belly because that belly is Purnatvam. So, it has to be nice and occupy space. Yeah. So, should the Mahatma be a big Mahatma? That's one way of becoming a Bada Mahatma. That's not what is talked about, so that we don't confuse Apuryamanatvam with some kind of size-wise Purna. Obese Mahatma. No, that's not what we are talking about. And that itself will become a deterrent to the health-conscious Jignasus. No. I don't want self-knowledge because then I'll get fat. That's not what is intended. That's why the answer is given, the example, the drishtanta is given, samudra, like an ocean. Yeah, samudravat purnaha. The ocean is complete in itself. It's not looking for something. Let's see who is coming now. No, it is complete in itself. It's an entire ecosystem. It sustains the fish world, the crocodile world, and the seaweed world, and the coral world, everything, and it sustains all the waves, the rebellious wave, the obedient wave, the tiny wave, the big wave, the small wave, the permanent wave in a different context. It sustains all the waves. It's self-free of all of them. If all of them were taken away, if all the waves were taken away, it would still be content because the waves arise from, are sustained by, and resolve into the ocean. So the ocean is a world unto itself. It is complete. So too the person of knowledge is like the ocean, complete in oneself, not desiring anything from anywhere for this completion. And then achala pratishtha, achala pratishtha, yasya, achala pratishtha, apuryamana, complete. Achala pratishtha means unmoving. The ocean doesn't say, why should I always be between these two continents? So boring. And there is a lot of conflict this side, lot of conflict this side. Let me take myself to the other side. Think about it. If the Pacific said, why Pacific, I don't particularly feel peaceful. I'm going to become Atlantic. There would just be a lot of chaos. It doesn't need to pick itself. Thank God it doesn't have a human mind which will say that and suggest that. And I'm sick of being the ocean, I'll just become a little sea. No. It is happy being who it is. Achala pratishtha. It is not going anywhere. It is falling back and completely content with itself. Achala pratishtha. And how do we know this? Because it is like an ocean which welcomes the rivers. Samudram, apaha, the waters, pravishanti, they enter yadvat. So just like the ocean welcomes the rivers, how many ever rivers come, it welcomes. If supposing one river encounters a dam or something and it is late in joining, the ocean doesn't go like this. Every year you come at this time and now you're late. What's wrong with you? What kind of an impression will give? You should be on time next year. No. It welcomes it. Supposing the ocean, the river, while joining becomes what? Lupta. Lupta means what? Disappears. Adarshanam lopaha. It disappears. Why? Because of climate change, because the sun was too hot, the river has dried up. All there is to remind us there was a river is a bed upon which it used to sleep. Yeah. Now it is adarshanam gataha. Gone. And will the ocean shed tears because, oh, this one is not praising me, this one is not kissing my feet, and I'm missing River Saraswati, because that's exactly what happened to River Saraswati. I'm missing River Saraswati, where did you go? The ocean doesn't say that, because it is apuryamanam, it is complete in itself. Tadvat, in the same manner, all kinds of fancies, desires enter the mind of the jnani, like the rivers in the ocean. The jnani neither shuns them nor follows them. Tadvat kamaha pravishanti sarve. And the jnani is a sakshi, the witnesses. And if it needs to fructify, it will happen. And I've seen this with Pujya Swamiji so many times. He would make a suggestion. This would be a good time to start this project. And it was not for him, it was for the people. I still remember, some women came and said, we don't have employment. And then he said, okay, let's start some kind of a stitching, what is that called? Classes for stitching and all these things. So certain machines were brought, everything was there. And, I was working with him at the time. He just gave me. He said, spend whatever you need and bring all the things that are needed. And I never questioned anything. I just brought everything in a truck. And then, the person who was supposed to find a place, went away. We don't know where. And so there was no place even to unload this truck, And then what happened was that it was unloaded in somebody's basement, etc. Long story short, it remained there. The project didn't start because the person who was supposed to give the place and had agreed to give the place for these stitching classes to take place, everything, the teacher was found, everything was set, except there was no place. No place. Everybody went. And then, Pujya Swamiji did not a word escaped his lips. He didn't say how disappointing, wonder what happened, shall we call the person? I asked, shall we call the person? He said, try. And the number was disconnected. Number was not working. So there was no recourse. He couldn't do anything. He just kept quiet. And he did not even appoint. It would have been very easy to appoint somebody else. He knew so many people. He could have just said, why not you? Somebody else come. He didn't say that. Why? Because he had full faith that it will happen. He was so complete in himself that it would happen. And 6 months later or 9 months later, it started again. Same person came back. And Swamiji said, I was waiting for you. Where did you go? Oh, I had second thoughts. I'm so sorry. And I had some losses and I didn't feel I could commit and whatnot. Do you feel you can commit now? Not really, but I'm back. Okay, raise the funds, do this. And then it started. So like this, the karmas come. It's not that the karmas don't come. We are not trying to get rid of desires, because then we will be left with a desire to get rid of desires. Very boring. Then you will have to get rid of the desire to get rid of desires. Then you will have to get rid of the desire to get rid of desire to get rid of desires. I don't think you want me to go on. Yeah. So therefore, you're not trying to get rid of desires. You're trying to be a witness and reduce those desires that are clamoring for fulfillment. They are called binding desires, without which I cannot live. Those without which I think I cannot live. Those desires you're trying to reduce the burden of, so that one is close to being a jnani, because the desires come, and if you don't give them, if you don't say namaste, hello and put a welcome mat, they just sit there for some time and go away. The desires come and they go away, just like the rivers come and join or not at will. So, saha shanti mapnoti, such a person gains this shanti, freedom from affliction. Not who the kamakami. Kamakami means the one who is desirous of desires. This is a very beautiful depiction of what lies at the end of this journey of study. Very beautiful. And the other one, which describes the jnani, is also very beautiful, little quizzical. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam. Translation. I already, referred to this in one of the talks. Ya nisha, that which is the night. What is night? Where you sleep, correct? Yeah. And nowadays we have to be careful because sometimes people are awake in the night and they sleep in Vedanta class. You know. So, do you know why the best sleep comes in Vedanta class? Did I tell you that story?
Probably.
Huh? Okay. Ask afterwards. After class I'll tell. There is a reason for that. So that you don't have to feel bad if you're sleeping because there's a very good reason. Sleep in, let me just say in short, sleep in Vedanta class is the best kind because it is directly blessed by Lord Krishna. More later, ... So, back to this. Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam, that where, Sarva Bhutanam, for all beings, that which is the night. What do you do at night? Sleep. The pickpocket begs to differ. But, but we are not talking of Naktancharaha, those nocturnal beings, but we are talking of regular people. What do regular people do? When the night falls, you fall asleep. So that which is night for everyone, in that night, tasyam, in that night, Jagarti is awake. What? Samyami. Samyami here is Jnani, the one who has mastered the sense organs and the organs of actions. The Swami, the Sanyami is another name for Jnani. The Samyami, Jagarti. Jagarti sounds like it should be plural, but actually it's singular because it belongs to that, what is that? That frustrating second conjugation. Jagrati is plural, Jagarti is singular. Yeah, go figure. Anyway, so Tasyam, in that night, where everyone is happily asleep, the Jnani is pacing, not pacing, is awake. Tasyam Jagarti Sanyami, blink, blink, awake. Very quizzical. And then the opposite is also true. The Bhagavad Gita says, Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani. In that, Yasyam means in which daytime, in which daytime all the beings are awake. Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe, for the seer. Munihi Mananashilaha, for the contemplative seer, that is night. So, of course, one can immediately come to the conclusion that the Jnani is a nocturnal being. Yeah, for reasons unknown, because Jnanis do strange things. And so this is one more strange thing that the Jnani does. Jnanis are famous for doing unexpected, unpredictable, strange things. And one more strange thing to note about the Jnani, said by the Bhagavad Gita, so it must be true, is that during the day they sleep and during the night they are awake. That's why they keep celebrating Shivaratri. Shivaratri Jagaran, you should just keep awake all the time. That would be just a fun interpretation, but that's not true, because you see the Jnani also awake during the day. You can see them asleep at night. So what does this mean? So the sleeping and the waking are proverbial here. Metaphorical meaning of sleeping and waking. And night and day we use it in a metaphorical way. The difference between that is night and day. We say that. Difference between jnanam and ajnanam, night and day difference, meaning there is no comparison at all between knowledge and ignorance. There is no comparison. You cannot even talk about it in the same breath. So what does the night represents in which the Jnani is awake? The night represents a reality to which the Jnani has awakened. And what does the day represents? In which the Jnani is asleep but the rest of the people are awake. The day represents another reality which powers all the beings and which is of no interest to the jnani. One is Paramarthika, Satta. One is the reality which is absolute, which is signified by the night. No, but the absolute reality should be signified by the bright daylight. Why night? Because only jnani is awake. That's why night. Not many people are awake to that. Very few and far between are awakened to that, and therefore this is signified by the night. The Paramarthika Satta, that reality which is absolute, which is complete Satchidanandatvam, is signified by what? The night. Because very few people are making the effort to get there. This is not some kind of an accidental blessing to awaken into that night. It is the result of that desire to learn and, and that effort to put yourself in a committed pursuit of this knowledge. Then only the blessing of being able to be awake to this night comes. So, this is the night which signifies Paramarthika Satta, a night which signifies oneness. And also it's signified by the night because the night is quiet, nothing is moving, no disturbance. It is the epitome of Shanti. It is the epitome of freedom from afflictions because nobody is awake. So how are you bothered? You're not bothered by anything. And so it is the night of self-understanding, self-knowledge, because unto that you are awake and you don't care who else is awake because you are so full like the ocean that you're not looking for company. Unlike the person who was very stressed. He was a CEO of a big company and he said, I have too much stress. Oh Guru, help me do something. Help me to get rid of stress. And the Guru gave some general advice. Just go somewhere. Where do you live? Eugene. Okay. Go to Spencer. Who is Spencer? Spencer's boot. Go there. Go up the mountain. Go have some solitude. Sit there. After that, what should I do? Just enjoy. Come back. And so he said, okay, I'll try it. So he went up, and then he just felt so wonderful. He looked to the left, looked to the right, high trees, the whole, nice vistas. He looked up, loved it. And he composed an ode. First he tried his cell phone, but there was no bars. Because he wanted to call his wife and say, this solitude is wonderful, you should come and join me. He wanted to do that, but there was no bar, dots, whatever it is. So then, he said he settled down to compose an ode to solitude. Oh, solitude, because he had read some Keats and what is that? These romantic poets, Shelley, Keats, Byron, he had read Wordsworth. Oh, solitude, you are wonderful. The only thing you lack, he said, is company. This is not the Jnani's ode. This is not the Jnani's lament. Because everything is herself, himself. Sees everybody as an extension of oneself. Not just everybody, everything. Animate, inanimate, everything is an extension of that consciousness which that person fully embodies. That is why that fullness, which is infectious, really. And so, in that Paramarthika Satta, to that reality, the Jnani is forever awake. Awakened to that reality. To which Sarvani Bhutani, for all the beings are fast asleep. They are not yet awake. Why? Because they haven't studied the Bhagavad Gita. they haven't studied Vedanta, and they have no intention of either, then they must be waking up sometimes. You can't be forever asleep. So when are they awake? They are awake to a different reality, the empirical transactional reality of divisions, disputes, conflict, afflictions, fears and tears, shoka and bhaya. They are awake to that reality, which is really a non-reality. In fact, they are only half awake, ardha vikasa. In other words, they are dreaming that somebody is after them. Sometimes you animate your dreams at night, you know. You don't know that. The person sleeping next to you will tell you. That's why people kick in the sleep. That's why people make all kinds of things. Sometimes people get up and walk also, they don't know. So, what is this dream? What is this dream-like reality into which the person is half awake? Half awake because the motions are being, gone through, but really there is no satisfaction. So the person is awakened to two kinds of realities, two kinds of dream-like states. The first one is sort of pleasant, you can say. Pleasant feelings, pleasant thoughts, pleasant experiences, and a few friends and loved ones coming together, and nice things, ice creams, bondas, those kinds of things are in the dream. Aha, fantastic. No, those dreams are few and far between. And those dreams are in fact punctuated by a recurring nightmare. Recurring and universal nightmare that three fellows are chasing me. Ayyo, where did these three fellows come? They have names also actually. One of them is called Sanchita. One of them is called Agami. And what's the third one's name? Prarabdha. Three forms of karma. Sanchita karma means every single thing that you have ever done that you are not proud of, that is there in your personal account. Unfortunately, you don't operate it. It's operated by the mastermind, Bhagavan's assistant called Chitragupta. Yeah, a lot of people in North India, for them this is their Ishta Devata, Chitragupta. They know where to go straight to Chitragupta. The Srivastava community, for them Chitragupta is the Devata. They worship as Ishvara. No, nothing wrong, because everything is Ishvara. So Ishvara in the form of Karma Phala Data is Chitragupta. Chitragupta, and the word Gupta here is to be underscored. Gupta means secret. He won't tell you how much is there in your Sanchita. So your own bank account you're not aware of. You do, and you can't say, can you say how much credit, meaning punya, and how much debit, meaning papa, is there? No, Gupta. Yeah. Even now the surname Gupta belongs to the accounting community in India. So he's an infallible counter, and you cannot negotiate. Yes, I killed the mosquito. Look, I killed the mosquito, all right, but you see there were 20 people in the room, I saved them all from the bite, so half papa, half punya, no. This is Sanchita. Everything one has ever done, in this life, no. In every single life you've ever had. This is Sanchita. That is one fellow chasing me, because it's always there in the background. Until Sanchita goes, the feeling is, I can't get moksha, because until the karma goes, how can I get moksha? This is the recurring nightmare and the lament. Karma won't go, moksha won't be got. How to exhaust karma? And then there are philosophies, vasana kshaya, how to exhaust karma quickly. There are schools of thought like this. Don't follow them. Very highly misleading. I'll tell you why very quickly. So that is Sanchita. Then out of this Sanchita, it's just like a big ball of atta, dough. Out of this atta, you pluck out one to make one chapati. That is prarabdha. What you have to, and you cook it also on both sides. Nicely. And sometimes they put it on the open fire so that it will become fat. The roti will be nice and perfect and fat. You have to put it on the open fire. That is what you have to endure in this life. Yeah, a flat existence, flat bread existence. Yeah, cooked thoroughly by the fires of samsara, afflictions galore. This is prarabdha. Oh, so little bit less Sanchita is, so I'm happy. No, wait till I talk about the third one. The third fellow chasing me is called Agami, meaning all the things that I do right now, right here, that I'm not proud of, which go and join what? Sanchita. So maybe a little ball was broken off and chapati was made, but before I can be jubilant and say, Yeppy, Sanchita, little bit less now. No, because Agami then joins. And sometimes the Agami is greater than the contribution of Agami is greater than Prarabdha. Because this fellow, led a Charvaka life. Charvaka life means, 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Asuri vritti. Give me, like Asuras. Rakshasa type existence, everything is mine. Idam mama, idam sarvam mama. At the end of the Homa, what did you say? Idam na mama. But this fellow says, idam mama, this is mine. Imam prapsye manoratham. I had a fancy for this, I'm going to grab and get it. Chindhi, bindi, I'll tear you asunder, I'll cut you apart, but I want this at every cost. And idam maya labsye, this I will gain, this I will have, and because the world they see as divided into two. Mine? Not yet mine. Not mine, no. Not yet mine, because it's going to become mine very soon. This is how they see the world. And so such a person's agami will be greater than the prarabdha that is broken off. And so the sanchita is ever growing, and the prarabdha is relentless, and agami you cannot help. So what to do? These are the three people chasing the recurring nightmare, and you are flailing in the bed because you are animating and acting out your dream. And this recurring nightmare. In between, some pleasant dream is there. One gulab jamun drops into the mouth. Aha, nice. But still those people are chasing. You spit out half of the gulab jamun because they have caught up. Only half you can enjoy. Prarabdha again. Prarabdha caught there. And so you can't really, enjoy, because these three things are always chasing behind. And, one is terrified and one is flailing. But because of some gulab jamun in the past, some purva punya, somebody puts a hand on the shoulder, stops this person from enacting the running in the life, wakes the person up. Who is that person? Don't say significant other, okay? Guru, the one who was awake into that night into which no one is awake. The one who is awakened to one's nature of paramarthika satta, that reality, that person awakens this flailing person, taking compassion on him, sympathizing with the person, empathy, and saying, taking pity on this person, ahetuna, not gaining anything out of it. Swayam tirnaha, those are called gurus who have themselves crossed samsara. Anyanapi tarayantaha, they help others cross also. Why? Ahetuna, without any gain, without any expectation. And the example that's given, is like the spring. The spring blesses people now with all a riot of colors, flowers, fragrances, without thinking what will I gain in return. Just like that, the gurus of the world who are awakened to that reality are like a spring-like presence who bless everybody with the sights and sounds and colors and fragrances that make people smile. And here the colors and fragrances are of your own nature that you never thought you would blossom in such a way. You think the spring has come, and then you say, then you understand that that spring is you. Suddenly there is a spring in your step. Now you are awake. My question to you is this. So after the Guru wakes you up, the person wakes you up and gives you a glass of water, that is the what? Shruti. Please drink this because you seem very agitated. You drink the water, how nice. Then do you continue to run from Agami, Prarabdha and the other fellow? Who was the other fellow? Sanchita chasing you in the, in the dream? No. No, hopefully. Not at all. Absolutely not. Why?
Because you're woken. You're woken.
Yeah, that was Zen, this is Tao. That was then. That was a different reality. 3 people chasing me in the dream, and I am awakened from that horrible nightmare. Then will I say, thank you for the water, now I have to continue running, otherwise they'll catch up? Because the karma is falsified. When is the karma falsified? When the karta is falsified. That is the water of akartritvam, that you are not the doer. And if you are not the doer, how can you be the done in? If you are not the author of your own omissions and commissions, how can the omissions and commissions of others bother you? This is the knowledge. This is the water that the Guru gives you to drink, the water of akartritvam, the teaching that you are just an as-though doer. You may be doing something, this and that, but you are not the agent of action. Neither are you the agent, nor are you the recipient of action. In fact, you are not even the knower. Oh, I am not the knower of Vedanta. No, you are not. Oh, then how will the knowledge of Vedanta takes place? When the knower goes to sleep, the knowledge of Vedanta takes place. That's why we tell lots of jokes to kind of distract the knower. This is all, thought out. So in the joke, the knower relaxes and says, oh, this one is okay. I think I can just relax. Little further, a little deeper. We want the knower, the status of the knower, the ahankara that has morphed into the status of the knower, to relax and preferably not interrupt the class and go to sleep. Just like we have to keep children occupied with drawings, paintings, like that. Just like that, the knower is kept occupied with the jokes, with feeling nice, lulled into a certain trust. And then, before it knows, the knower is knocked off. Yeah, knocked off completely, because that knowledge is, which you are receiving, is that which transcends the knower and known distinction. It's neither the knower nor the known. It is full enough to morph as the knower and as the known simultaneously without undergoing any change. That is that knowledge. So the knower is knocked off by the water of akartritvam. You're not the doer. You're not the agent of this knowledge. That's why you can't read the Upanishad and the Bhagavad Gita and expect to get something out of it. Especially 6th chapter. Pick up the self, by the self, the self is its own friend and the self is its own enemy. What do you understand? And some of the S's are small and some of the S's are capital. Ayyo. Horrible translations. That's why it needs a person to mediate. You need a microphone for the Vedanta which the teacher is. And don't think all the teachers say this because they want to be in business. They like to hear the sound of their own voice and they want a few people to listen. So they keep saying to keep themselves in business. No, but that's how it works. That is exactly how it works. Because when I read, I am in my own way, the exact infrastructure that I'm trying to get rid of comes in the way of interpreting, rather misinterpreting the very Shastra that I want to gain from. So you tell this person, the king of Raipur, the king of, the body, mind, sense complex, this little ahankara with its little happiness and its little Ishvaratvam. You tell it, you are the whole. And it drops the W and thinks, I am full of holes, because that's what it feels like. It is wedded to that littleness. That's why the walls in the heart have to be torn asunder with the gentle words of the teacher in accordance with the Shastra. The words have the power to break that wall. What is behind the wall is Bhagavan, and still one is longing for darshan because one misses this. There is a wall, and the wall is, broken by the words of the Shastra. The words of the Shastra are like flowers, and the flowers not like guns. Flowers that they have the power, flower power, to break through this wall, and offered at the feet of the Lord within. This is what it is. So therefore, that reality into which one is already awake is a very bad reality, difficult reality, sad reality, mad reality, a non-reality actually, because really speaking, there is nobody chasing you. Karma is a model for the child who doesn't know, for the emotional child who doesn't know how to work through life, and that it is important to follow dharma, and it's important to know the difference between right and wrong. That's why karma is like a model, which is like the training wheels on a little bike of the toddler, because it doesn't know how to balance and drive on the road. Once it learns how to drive, you remove the wheels, you don't need it. So once adharma is understood and dharma is internalized, then what karma, what karta? But where do all these karmas go? Now I'm thoroughly frightened. Where does Sanchita go? Where can it go when it's not really there? Where does the snake go when the rope is recognized? Oh, I think it slithered away into that bush. Same thing happens to Sanchita. It was never there to slither away. And neither is the sliminess of the snake, experienced on the rope, because there was no rope. There was aropa, but there was no rope. Huh? Not Europa, that's one of the moons of Jupiter, I think. So this is what it is. So it is all a missed understanding. I know the I sufficiently enough to make a mistake upon that I and continue living that nightmare and reproducing that nightmare. Thinking that I'm caught because of my actions and the results of actions are binding, and I'm just a trapped person because the more I try to extricate myself, like a bird, a trapped bird, the more it tries to extricate itself, what happens? The more it is entangled. That's how one feels in this nightmare. The guru doesn't need to cut the rope. There is no rope. There is only aropa. There is only adhyasa. There is only a superimposition of thinking I am bound. Like even the cows in the ashram of this guru and this shishya, they had a few cows, few hundred cows. One day somebody stole all the ropes and left. It was too late to go to the market. And Amazon.com was yet to be launched with its drone delivery. So they had no recourse. What to do with all the cows? They'll run away. The Shishya brought them home all right, but they will run away. He goes to the Guru, says, please help. The Guru says, have you tied them? What do you mean, have you tied them? I haven't tied them. As though tie them. And the Shishya is not impressed. How come if I can as though tie them, they're going to stay there? But he's surprised. As soon as he tied, he pretended to tie each of them to their respective post in the stables. They all became very stable and lay down for the night, and they started to chew the cud and, make their bed and go to sleep. And Shishya was very impressed now. Guru's mantra is very powerful. Forget Vedanta, I need to get this mantra. What if I can immobilize A whole room full of people. That will be fun. So thought the Shishya. And then, but still he had doubts. Guru spent a very peaceful night. Shishya was awake every 2 minutes trying to see if anyone was running away. Because that would be the end of his study if any of the cows went missing. Morning came and none of the cows are moving. And he says, come on, go to the water. I have to prepare tea for the teacher. I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to do things. None of them are, And then he thought, maybe I don't know what's wrong with them. So he took a little, some kind of a branch, won't hurt, full of leaves. And he just went, come on. And they took the beating, but they went like this. They would not go. They just wouldn't go. And he said, Guru's mantra is very powerful. Better go and get the antidote, anti-mantra for this. And Guru said, Mudha, have you untied them? He says, what? Don't tell me I have to go through the motions of untying 100 cows. Guru was not impressed, just didn't even respond. So then he, as though untied them, the poor cow wanted to go, rushed to the water, the second one rushed to the grass, the third one rushed, all of them rushed. This is the kind of bondage that one is suffering from. As though tied up by karma, by the notion that I am the doer, and therefore having recurring nightmares that in this state of bondage still people are running behind me and catching me. And what will happen to me? How will I get out of this? Once awakened, the shackles fall off, because the shackles, really speaking, were not there. It was a distorted perception. It was a wrongly internalized notion that I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow is but a notion. So that agent of knowledge, which is the pramana, which is the words of the Shastra handled by the Guru, which converts an ocean into a mere notion, this is what is to be celebrated. And this is what will make one awaken to that which the jnani, that reality unto which the jnani is awake. And don't think it is not possible. It is possible. Why is it not possible? It is definitely possible. Otherwise, there is no point about having any desire to know about the stories of jnanis' lives and how do they lead their lives. But we have a voracious appetite to know about saints, gurus, jnanis. And in fact, if you go to the airport bookstores, most of the books are filled with all these inspirational titles of how these gurus led their lives. And those are the ones that sell like cakes that are hot. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to say hot, so then I had to supply the adjective later. These are the ones that are, because the people are hungry for this. Why are you hungry for this if you don't think you can achieve this? So the lakshana of the jnani becomes sadhana for the people aspiring to be the jnani. Sadhana means a practice. The microwave agrees with me. And, so this is the practice. So the lakshana, the description of the jnani, becomes a sadhana, is something for me to aspire to and something for me to daily practice. Maybe I can't be awake all the time, but I can try living in the paramarthika satta for short bursts of time. Try small. Alparambham shreyaskaram. Small beginnings are auspicious. Try small. Can you be awake for 5 minutes into that, reality to which the jnani is awake? Yeah, I think I can manage 5 minutes. And when 5 minutes is possible, can you be awake for 10 minutes? I don't know. Okay, next week, can you try being awake for 10 minutes? Well, can I not do it continuously? 5 in the morning, 5 at night? Done. No problem. 10 minutes. 15 minutes. 1 hour. Half an hour. 2 hours. And very soon, through this practice, of course, it has to be backed by the study and the teaching. A committed pursuit of this knowledge will definitely, make one enjoy what the jnani enjoys in the last two verses. And what is that enjoyment? That enjoyment is that wondrous understanding that the ocean of fear and sorrow in which I was glub, 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 drowning is just a notion. So that which makes the ocean a notion is this knowledge, is this understanding. And in fact, Mirabai sings that. She says, Mori lagi lagana guru charanana ki. I'm terribly attached to the feet of the teacher. Why? Jhoota maya sab sapanana ki. Everything else is just a mere dream, a false reality. So what happened? I came to the Guru, she said, to get some swimming lessons because I was drowning in samsara. How to stay afloat in samsara was my question to the Guru. Backstroke, front stroke, butterfly stroke, What should I do to swim within samsara? And the Guru, because of his compassion, what did he do? He said that he made the ocean disappear. And she says, Bhavasagar sab sukh gaya hai. This ocean of becoming something or the other, this ocean of wanting, this ocean of mistakes, the ocean of bondage. The notion of bondage was just that. The ocean became a notion, Bhavasagara. This ocean of affliction and strife, sukh gaya hai, dried up. The ocean got dried up. Fikar nahi, mohe taran ki. There is no need to learn how to swim because, just like there is no need to run when you wake up and realize that prarabdha, agami, sanchita are what? Imaginary frenemies. Yeah. Why frenemies? Because you feel like you want them, Prarabdha includes punya too, you see, yeah. Some pleasant experiences are there, like that half swallowed gulab jamun. Half was spit out because of the one is startled, but the other half was swallowed. So like this. So this is why the knowledge of how the jnanis live is very inspiring, and it should not just be something that it's like a nice pleasant evening, heard about jnanis, wonderful, I'll sleep well tonight. No, that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to practice being like them, because one is already like them. One is already like all the saints that one worships. One just doesn't know it. And what comes is what we talked about in the earlier class today. All the viparita bhavana, thinking I'm not like this, and acting contrary to my nature, all that goes when the light of knowledge is, one is exposed to that light of knowledge. All the doubts, just like when you enter the room at night, turn on the light, all the insects crawl into various, places and go away. Just like that, all the doubts, despair disappears. May everyone awaken to that knowledge. Thank you. Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Yeah.
I have two questions. First one is, so here is this child who is 2 years and younger and is free. What happens when they get older? Is it other people change their mind?
No. It's not that they are free. They act as though they are free because ignorance of ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance of ignorance is bliss. And so they're unencumbered as though, but then they have a series of disappointments, starting with bonk, boink, boink. What is that? Bonk, bonk, bonk. The parent dropped them, Yeah. And so, starting with that, the series of disappointments, somehow I'm being dropped, nobody is caring for me, I'm abandoned, those feelings quickly set in. Yeah. Ignorance is there, but they don't know they are ignorant. So they're able to be spontaneous, they're able to be happy, Yeah.
And why does the best sleep come?
Why does the best sleep come in Vedanta class? It's the blessing of Lord Krishna, because Gudaka Devi, who is the sleep goddess, went and complained to Lord Krishna that people are just in love with their smartphones and they love blue light and they're all in so maniacs, pun intended, and they are not sleeping and they're always awake, and wherever I go they are awake and they just become awake. I'm not able to abide anywhere. Where is my place? And now they've started call centers, so everything is ulta, everything is upside down. She went and complained. And Krishna, out of his, apara mercy, what is that? Unbound compassion and mercy, said, please go to wherever Harikatha and Vedanta is taught. Harikatha means my own stories are taught. And wherever Vedanta is taught, you will have undisturbed sleep. But nobody is going to, Guru will not awaken, It is a papa to awaken somebody asleep. So the Guru will not awaken. Who will awaken? If the significant other might nudge and say, come on, you're embarrassing me. Not because of anything else. So who will awaken? So therefore, the best quality sleep comes in Vedanta class, a blessing of Lord Krishna. So nothing to feel bad. Yeah. Don't even call it sleep. Just say, I went into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. See, because you come to Vedanta class with a thirst for non-duality. You got it. Wonderful. This is one form of Akhandakara Vritti. Any other questions?